Hello, everyone. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. We're here with my friends that like to talk about Prince albums. We made it through the 70s albums, the 80s albums, and now we're tackling some of the 90s albums. And this is kind of the album where I did stop listening to Prince when we were doing the albums in real time. I did love The Most Beautiful Girl in the World when it came out. I had the CD single. But then by the time I got to Gold Experience in 95, I was into the rave scene and doing lots of stuff that we're not going to talk about on the podcast tonight.
That'll be another idea.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. But throughout the years, a lot of people really like Gold Experience, so I've tried to put it in the CD player because I did buy every album. Like I have every Prince album through his last one. I always bought them. I just honestly like some of them I bought and never listened to once. I hate to say it. So I suck, but I have them though. At least I have them, so I can go listen to them. But Gold Experience, I actually did try to listen to a few times. I just never got into it. So today I'm like, this podcast is coming up. Let me listen to it and let me take notes with each song. And I fucking loved it. Like I finally got this album. Today's the day I'm like, okay, now I understand why everyone likes it. So we have Clark, Ben, and Melissa, who are all regulars on the podcast. I asked them if they could carry this discussion a little bit more because I'm just not as familiar with this album. I realized I fucked up and we should have done. I had 3 more Prince episodes I want to do after this. Come, the Black Album, and then kind of an overview of his later stuff. And then before we came on, Melissa, I was saying we'll do every few months we can meet again, like pick one of the later albums and go into that one. I'd love to eventually listen to all of them and talk about them in our many years together. I want to be friends with you all for many, many years. Ben, thanks for coming back. You're definitely you're part of the family now, so you're stuck with us.
I love it. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit historically about what was going on. Prince, the last album we talked about was the Symbol album. After that, he did his first greatest hits compilation, the hits and B-sides. So there was 2 discs of hits and a 3rd disc of B-sides. Wasn't it like the kind of clean songs and the dirty songs and the B-sides?
Very edited versions.
Yeah. Having the B-sides on one CD was kind of orgasmic at the time. I remember just like falling in love with it. So that's a great compilation. Then the next thing he came out with was Come, right? And then he released the Black Album. So we're going to talk about those in the next couple of months. Then he released his first independent single, which was The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, which was a big hit. I feel like that was Prince's last top 10 hit on the pop charts. Am I wrong?
That was huge.
Yeah, wasn't there a tie-in to some beauty pageant too?
Oh, there might have been.
I think there was. Like a Miss Universe pageant or something?
After that, he came out with The Beautiful Experience, which was some remixes of The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. And I loved there was one of them I really loved. I guess Beautiful, the one that was kind of like the dance one.
Kind of housey.
Yeah, it was very house. It reminded me kind of like it jammed out like the same way that Just As Long As We're Together did from the first album. Like it just kind of had that extended jam that I loved.
Yeah.
Then in 95, by the time 95 came, I was living in Buffalo. I was really into Tina Marie. 95 is when I got into Tina Marie. So I kind of left Prince behind and started getting into Lady T.
You got into Tina Marie?
Yeah, I didn't get into her till later.
Wow.
I walked into a Blockbuster Music and I just saw 2 CDs sitting there, Irons in the Fire and It Must Be Magic. And the covers just like, they just spoke to me. I just bought them sight unseen, didn't know any of the songs, and my life changed for the next 2 years. So that's a whole nother podcast. 2024, Tina Marie. I love all of her albums except for Ivory. Okay.
Yeah, enough of that.
Back to Prince. That's 2024. We already have our lineup for next year. Gold Experience came out. It did have The Most Beautiful Girl in the World on it, but I didn't listen to this album too much, so I'd love to hear from the fans here. We'll start with Clark. Tell me about your life with this album when it came out.
Well, my first experience with it was he performed at an awards ceremony where he did the Purple Medley and also did some of the songs off this album, like medley versions of that. So, yeah, and it was lip synced, obviously, which I know he hated, but
that was an amazing performance, though. He was like,
yeah, it was
and doing splits and
Was that
And
the
he was-
American Music Awards?
I think so. And he was out there the whole time under a blanket or
Right.
something.
Yeah, they brought
it was
him
cool.
in.
Very
took him
clever
in.
choreography.
Yeah, and that's also where he made the famous comment about don't worry about our finances, everything is fine. So that people were talking at that time like, oh, Prince is probably broke and you know
Yeah.
he's going to do stuff for money and
I remember
he-
that. Yeah.
yeah,
They were saying he was broke and he blew through all his money and
yeah.
so.
Which turned out to, obviously I don't think it was he might not have been making as much money, but I don't think he was as broke as everybody said he was. So
Right. I
that was
think-
my first exposure was that award show, and it's like, oh, there's new music coming, so that's always fun.
Now,
I think
am
he
I
did
right?
319. I think he did 319 and Billy Jack Bitch on that award show.
Yeah.
And I Hate You. I think he did that. All three
Mhm.
of those. Yeah.
Am I right in saying that this wasn't really vault material? This was all new material at the time?
I think so.
Okay. This is when he had changed his name to The Symbol. So this is the first album to come out. He was no longer Prince. He was The Symbol. Is this the era where he was writing the slave on his face? I love the shirt, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
when things really went sour with Warner Brothers Records. They were still releasing his albums, but things were not going well.
Well, that greatest hits package that you put out, a lot of speculation was just to fulfill contract. He was
Right.
just trying to crank out material to fill that obligation. So
And the album Come that he released was also just a stopgap, right? He wasn't really invested in that material, was he?
No.
it's too bad because I liked it. I liked a lot of material on that album.
Yeah, that's
So-
how we're
That
going
and
to talk
the
about it.
Vault songs. What was that? Songs of the Vault?
Yeah,
Those were the
Old Friends for Sale.
contractual obligations. Right. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Chaos and
Yeah.
Disorder. But in the midst of all those albums, Gold Experience was something that he really did care about, right? Like I feel like he was invested in this
think so.
album. This wasn't a throwaway. I don't feel like.
But they released it 2 years after he made it.
So by the time
You
they
know,
released it, he was over it.
He was over it. He was over it.
So Ben,
But
what's your
everybody else?
what's your introduction to this album or whatever?
Melissa,
No, go ahead, Ben.
ladies first.
I remember the awards show, but I remember distinctly Pussy Control or P Control being in the club, like everywhere. Like that was the hit song back then. It was like everybody was wanting to hear that song. And it's not about what you think it's about. And people like twisted it to what they wanted it to be, but it was very, very I don't want to say prolific, but it was very like
It had a message.
all about women's
Empowerment.
empowerment and control. Yeah, exactly.
You guys like my avatar?
Oh,
Aw. All right, Ben, do you have any memories of coming into this album with it coming out and all that stuff?
I do. I remember the American Music Awards, and I remember not hearing 319, I Hate You, and Billy Jack Bitch on there. And I was like, I had recorded it onto cassette, and me and my friend Danny were just listening to it, memorized the whole thing, and we couldn't wait for them to release a single, which was I Hate You. But yeah, it was a great performance of that, and I like the album. It's very it's all over the place. Everybody can find something in it, no matter what kind of music you like rock, you like funk, it had everything.
right. It did.
Now I feel like the cover art is when he started going into that like kind of like style that he had the rest of his career. I don't even know how to say it. Like his Paisley Park design team, whatever they were. I feel like this is the first one that kind of looked like this, and they all kind of look like this to me till the end. Does anyone agree or disagree with me on that? Like it's kind of like the symbol was there, some weird collages of things.
It looks
I
very
embrace the
in-house
short hair.
production.
Yeah, it's very in. I feel like it was very in-house moving forward. All right.
Wow.
Well, is he on the cover? He's on the cover, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's his face in there.
Now, at the same time, wasn't the new Power Generation releasing albums also Exodus
And Gold.
Gold N? We'll call it Gold N.
And,
Gold N.
yeah.
I have a bootleg of that one.
Like that's the album I don't like.
You don't like it?
No, it's very, very raw, very like
Very masculine, isn't it? Like I just get such a masculine energy from that album. Very like, dude.
There's a few songs that I like on it, like I think Call the Law and something else, but
Melissa, I'm shocked. I just can't believe you're putting down a Prince album.
Real quick, Jeremy, I'm going to make my break and then I'm going to try to get back. All right.
Okay, wonderful. We'll
All
see you in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, Clark will be returning. Does anyone have anything to say before we start launching into the track by track discussion?
I'm good. Are you, Melissa? I have my cocktail here.
Yeah, I got my. I went to Arby's and I have a Diet Dr. Pepper.
I wish this was the cocktail. just a soda.
Well,
I've already had cocktails. So.
I'll apologize in advance then.
I have to say, listening to the album, it was just. I feel like the songs are just good songs. It's good songs. They're well constructed. It's clear. You can kind of feel if an artist is tapping into the mojo. Like if they're just, you can tell if someone's feeling inspired or going through the motions. And I didn't feel like he was going through the motions on this album. I thought he was really invested, even more so than some of the stuff like on Graffiti Bridge. There was some stuff on there that I'm like on the later half of the CD. Which sorry, Melissa, but so the album opens with P Control, also known as Pussy Control. And I remember the song in the clubs in the 90s. And you know what? I did like the song at the time it came out. And listening to it now, I still think it's pretty funky and fresh. I love this song.
But I just got in a discussion like like a month or two ago with a guy at a bar. He's like telling me that it was about something totally different. And I'm like, no, you have to go look at the lyrics because that's not what it's about.
So what is it about?
The woman who was she was put down by other people. I guess people were trying to I don't know how to put it, like her reputation put her down and stuff like that.
They were slandering her.
It was about woman empowerment and about how she became a lawyer and she looked back on all the people that put her down, like through high school or whatever, and said, well, I'm here now. Like, what are you doing?
I'm not sleeping my way to the top. I have my brains.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, I never heard that in clubs here on the West Coast. I mean, I went to gay clubs and stuff, so they never played it. But
no, they played it at the gay clubs in Buffalo. They did play it at the gay clubs in Buffalo.
Yeah, they didn't do anything in San Diego. I would have to request for them to play Prince, and sometimes or most times they would never play him. But yeah, they never played that in the clubs.
So
but
sad.
It is. I would have gotten off to it.
They played it at the Inner Belt at our gay club. They played.
I love the Inner Belt.
Is it still open?
Yes. That's where.
And all the gay clubs I went to.
Well, that's why I met Jeremy and Clark.
Oh really?
Yeah, we did. We made the Inner Belt.
Yeah, they never played any Prince in the clubs over here. So, but as a song, I think it's such a positive message. You just see girls all out now with their boobs out, the lashes and everything. And it's like, it's not what you look like, it's what you can do with your brain.
Right.
It's like, it's such an empowering message. But I think the title of it is kind of off-putting to some people, because I think that's why they changed it to P Control, because pussy is such a powerful word.
It's a powerful
word.
P Control on the crystal ball.
Sorry?
On Crystal Ball, it was Pussy Control.
Yeah.
And then he changed it,
Yeah, because I think that maybe Warner Brothers thought that was a little too much to call it. Right, yeah. So
I mean, after growing Nikki in Erotic City, how could they?
I know, which kind of crazes me, because you think as not even vulgar, but as he has been like with English language,
right?
throughout his whole, catalog, and then you're gonna, use P control.
Right.
Like, really?
Right.
I think he's kind of dumbing down his audience. That's just me.
Right. Which wasn't, like I said, wasn't about what they thought it was about.
Exactly.
So.
Well, I remember when it came out, and this is a song that did catch my ear. I just felt like it was another one in a string of really funky songs that because like Get Off was such a classic. Then Sexy MF was another classic. And I think P Control is another one. I just think they're all so funky, so different, but also good. All classic.
And the thing is that people know those songs. Like people who don't know Prince know those songs.
Yeah.
And I think this was also one of his, like him rapping. For like, I mean, he did. I mean, the ones you just mentioned, Sexy MF and all those, he's rapping in this pretty much.
Right.
Don't you think?
I didn't mind it either. I was there for it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a guitar or a bass that comes in the chorus on top of the synth, but I'm like, this is some funky shit. And only Prince could make this song. I don't think anyone else could do P Control. Like that is such a Prince song. And I feel like it's Prince.
A woman cover it.
Oh, yeah.
I would. I think that'd be so awesome. Madonna, do you hear me?
Oh my gosh. Someone needs to save Madonna.
You think Madonna would do it?
No, I think someone needs to save her.
Oh, God. Yeah.
You see that new video she just released today? Let's not even go there. Who'd you say? Janelle Monáe?
I said Janelle Monáe could probably do this song.
Oh, and good. She'd do a good job at it, too.
Yeah. She's really good.
And you know what? It almost sounds like we know Janelle was inspired by Prince, but I feel like this song was so futuristic that it would sound right at home on one of her albums right now, Unchanged, and sound current.
Yep.
So.
I think I might have to remix that. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna do it. I will say I'm gonna be listening to this album after this podcast. Like it's going in my car all week. I just like fell in love with it when I listened to it today. So are we gonna do the Marcus scale? I give P Control definitely a thumbs up. I do. I'll give it to you.
Okay, so then we have all the segues with the operator, which he had the segues on the Symbol album. The segues are back. They didn't bother me though. I thought it was fine. It kept the story going.
I like it on here, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't bother me.
They didn't add much to it though.
It didn't add much.
A break.
It kind of like Janet's albums all have the segues, which
she had so many.
They were good in the beginning, then like towards the 2000s, it started getting like kind of tired. But here, I thought they were harmless. They were harmless.
Like Janet track listing.
That was the thing back then, though. They started putting that into the albums for some reason.
Yeah, like Janet had like 20 track lists or 20 tracks, and it's like maybe 16 of them are actual songs.
Yeah.
It's like don't give me the songs.
All right, so the second song is and if I miss a song, please tell me because I did a document and I typed the song titles and put some notes. This is the first time I've ever I actually did some research and did some notes, so I'm trying to be a better host. Thanks to my Patreon subscribers, I'm trying to give you your money's worth here. Okay. Endorphin Machine. This is a rocking song, isn't it?
Yes.
The first time I heard it in like 95, I'm like, oh, this is cheesy, like Vegas style rock. It is not. It's good. I thought I enjoyed it. I don't know these songs too well. So what do you all think of Endorphin Machine?
I love Endorphin Machine. I think, it's very like rock influenced, and it's funny. I have a friend in Minneapolis. Her name is Heidi, and she named her bicycle. She rides bicycle everywhere, but she named it Endorphin Machine. And so it's kind of like a theme, like it's rock and roll. It's like fast. It's like moving. So it kind of fits with that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what endorphins were until I heard this song. I looked it up in the dictionary. Yeah, I'm like, what in the hell is an endorphin?
Right.
But when I found out, I was like, oh, I'm full of endorphins.
Yeah, right.
Ben, did you like this song? What do you think of this one?
I did. I think this song would have probably fared better as an opener for the album. This or Now, the song Now. I think those two would have probably been better to open the album with. for, I don't know. But yeah, it rocks. The song rocks.
I'll give it a thumbs up. I think I give Endorsement Machine a thumbs up. All right. So then there's an NPG operator, and she's talking in Spanish. Isn't she saying Prince is dead? She said like Prince Muerto or
Muerte. Yeah.
I think that was Maite doing that.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I think it was because she speaks Spanish.
Okay.
She did some other stuff. Don't quote me on that. Patreon subscribers do not quote me on that.
I'll quote you on it because it was her.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, it was her.
Let me get this track listing here. All right, so the next song is Shh, which was, I back in the day done like the Prince ballads, but I liked every Prince ballad on this album. I thought this was a really nice song.
Okay, I thought this was Tevin Campbell did this song originally.
Okay.
And I love Prince version so much better.
Oh, really?
Like Tevin Campbell did good job on it, but with Prince it was more like sexy and like mature and like I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
I forgot to show I have my record store day Gold Experience vinyl that came out last year.
Oh, I have that too. Just a few months ago.
Yeah, that was a cool release. Yeah, so for sure, I just wrote like great ballad. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, like, do you after school like some homework, all that?
It's a very sexy song.
Lyrics, it's so good.
And remember the last podcast how Jahida was saying how Prince does sexy so well, and I kept thinking about that when I listened to this album because it's so hard to walk that line because sexy can so easily become crass or explicit,
right,
or cheesy,
right,
and insincere, and like Prince, it really feels sexy. Like I was listening to that, like I fired up my Tinder app. I'm like, you know what, this is putting me in the mood.
I thought that was you.
Oh,
you look familiar to me.
One of my favorite songs on the album.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, Prince does sexy in the way that it's not offensive or vulgar, and like you listen to it and you want to get down. And I probably have to that song. So, but anyway, I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So after We March. And you know what? I didn't leave any notes about this one. I don't think I loved this one though. What do you guys think? Yeah.
You didn't? Oh, well, okay. Back then, I didn't really think a lot of it, but as we have progressed into like our, I think like political things and stuff like that,
sure,
it makes more sense to me.
Okay.
As a political movement, and like, he has a lot of, I don't know, like good points in the song about, he's talking about people being racist and stuff like that. If you ever looked at the lyrics, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think is us not being Black people that we really can't appreciate the content of the song lyrically. I mean, it's a very political song.
Yeah.
Like the Million Man March and everything. I mean, it really speaks to people, but really specifically Black people.
Okay.
And I don't think that's something that non-Black people can like really get into. But as a minority myself, being gay and everything, I get it. I totally get it. And so I like it. I mean, musically, it's okay. Nothing to write home about, but I think the message is stronger than the music.
Okay.
Right. Definitely.
And then when I revisit the album, my second round, tomorrow on my way to work, I will perk my ears up for this one because, as we all know, or maybe we don't, that I'm very into social activism. So, all right. And when Clark gets back, we'll have him review all the songs that he missed. Okay,
yeah,
is back. And then, of course, we go into the big hit song, The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. And I remember I was living with these drag queens in Jamestown, New York, and SWV was out. That's when Mariah was like huge with like between Music Box, and then she was going into Daydream, and that's around the time Most Beautiful Girl in the World was out. Oh, here's Clark. Clark's back already.
That was quick.
Oh, that was fast.
Clark, you're back already?
Hey.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so we're on like track 5, but do you want to do a little?
Wow.
Do you want to do a little lightning round of what you thought of the songs we covered so far?
Yeah, throw titles at me and I'll thumbs up or thumbs down.
And give us a little. Do you remember the interview where Aretha Franklin's talking about like the performers? She said it like a little blurb. Give us a little Aretha. Okay.
Oh, I've never been asked to give anybody a little Aretha before, but
Take
your time.
Okay. So P
All right.
Control.
thumbs up. I like it. So I like the message. I think the hip hop that's on this album is probably his most successful venture into that area, which is not obviously his area of comfort.
Right.
But it's the least cringe-inducing rap that he's done.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Okay. Next we have Endorphin Machine.
Oh, love it. High energy. It's great. Yeah. Nice rockin' tune.
Yep. Shh.
You just hiss at me like a cat?
He's like, wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that too. Yeah. Nice. It counts as a ballad, right? It's kind of a power ballad. I love it.
And then we have We March.
Little heavy-handed on the message, but overall I think it's great.
Okay, and now you're caught up with us.
All right, why do you say it's heavy-handed?
Just because it's a little on the nose. Like he's made political statements before, like "free." I thought was nice and subtle. This is a little more direct in your face. Maybe that's what he felt was necessary, but I think it's a little on the nose for him.
Okay.
I'm used to him kind of taking shots from the outside, and I think he's more effective that way.
Okay.
But the message itself, I have no problem with. It's just his presentation of that in this song.
All right. So now we're on Most Beautiful Girl in the World. You're caught up with us, Clark.
Yay!
When this song came out, it was very organic for Prince. I just thought it was a very organic song. It was very soulful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say simple because I think that minimalizes it. Maybe
I have a few things about this song.
Okay, I feel like it's sincere though, and I loved it. It was nice to have Prince on the charts at that time. I just remember being like, "Oh, I'm so glad Prince is on the charts with an indie single." Okay, Melissa, go ahead.
Well, there was a thing about, which is why it was off of like streaming for a while. There was a thing about these Italian people that said he plagiarized the song, and they were in this big lawsuit about whether he plagiarized some of the music from the song. And so that's why it was off the streaming devices for a while. It just came back on like a few months, like maybe 6 months ago.
They're saying he plagiarized these other artists?
Yeah, that's what these
And they settled. They won.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Did anyone hear the Italian song? Does it sound?
He had never heard anything they did.
Right.
Yeah,
And they really sounded nothing alike.
They don't sound alike?
I've heard them both, and I don't think they sound anything alike.
I don't think so either. But
wow.
I remember when it came out, and then actually my best friend has a story about that. There was like an award show, and he was singing this on the award show or something, and she was in labor giving birth to her daughter. So she was like dedicated the song to her daughter.
Aww.
So cute.
You know, Prince wasn't perfect, but of all the things I think you could ever accuse him of, I don't think he'd ever be in a position where he needs to rip off somebody else.
Exactly.
No,
Right.
not at all.
Yeah, at that point, he's probably had maybe 500-600 songs in his vault. Like, yeah,
Right.
oh, yeah, I'm gonna steal from some guy's song that I've never heard. Yeah, it's stupid. Makes me mad.
So I guess they must have won the lawsuit because it's back on the streaming devices.
Wow. Well, I guess the Prince estate is losing a little bit of money, but they'll make up for it with their multiple reissues that I buy every damn deluxe edition of. Okay, Most Beautiful Girl in the World, though, I give it a thumbs up. I think it's a sweet song. Was the version on Gold Experience a little bit different than the single version?
Yes, and I like the album version better.
Okay, how's it different?
Well, what was the difference?
Just there's a little bit of difference in the music. I'd have to play them both, behind each other to tell you what they are, but okay. I do remember liking the single version better, or the album version better than the single version.
Yeah, I think not the single version, the album version, or vice versa. I don't know, but one of them had a stronger guitar in the mix.
Yeah,
okay.
Like near the end of the song, but that's only for a Prince nerd. So, but I think it's like more like towards the end of the song.
Yeah,
there wasn't much of a difference in melody and construction stuff.
I think like the song is very like upbeat and like ethereal and like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a feel good song for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a woman.
Yeah.
Or a drag queen.
There was something off one of Prince's. There was something off one of Prince's last albums that I loved the single. Then he redid it on the album. What was that song? Something about rock and roll. Fan it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Love
yeah.
And lives in Minneapolis.
Rock and Roll Love Affair. That's what it was. I loved that song.
Yeah, where he samples.
That's way later.
Samples 1999.
Yeah. But that's another one where I like the single version better than the album.
He
version.
released it during a Minnesota. What's the basketball team's name?
Vikings.
Wolves.
No.
I think he released it during a Wolves game. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so moving on. Next is Dolphin.
Hey, one more
go
thing.
ahead,
I just had a friend, which you met Vivian.
Yes, of course.
She just discovered that song, and she saw the video, and I had the pleasure of explaining to her who Marva Collins was. So that was kind of fun.
Aww.
Yeah.
And Vivian liked the song?
Yeah, she loved it, and then she loved the video, and then she heard the whole history, and then did the deep dive on who Marva Collins was.
Like, didn't she open a school and stuff after that?
Before that, yeah, she left a job teaching public school and opened her own school and produced like incredible academic results.
I don't know
'70s,
who Marva Collins is. Who is that?
Tell the listeners, Clark. Fill people in.
She's an educator, and she got frustrated. The simple story is she got frustrated with the public school system, and she was in Chicago, and she opened her own school, and just turned out like incredible kids, and got really great results. She's a pretty impressive person, and then she's the middle-aged woman with the short hair in the video for that song.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's who. Yep, that's who that is. Yep. She's passed away since then, I think. But yeah, if you Google her, you'll come up. There's some pretty impressive stats about her.
Now, not that charts matter, but am I correct in saying that this was Prince's last top 10 mainstream chart hit? Because I feel like it was.
Maybe.
I think that it's the one that most people would know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Any other thoughts on Most Beautiful Girl in the World? All right. Next is Dolphin.
You guys heard the story of them getting the people to do the video. I guess they'd posted an ad.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Tell the story.
Yeah.
So they posted an ad for the most beautiful girl in the world, and all these girls or women would send their pictures in, and I guess he handpicked whoever he thought was cute or the most beautiful and put them in the video.
Yeah, the ad was something like eligible bachelor seeks most beautiful, and he didn't say who he was. I'm sorry, I don't have anything. I just got panhandled.
So. Tell him to come visit me at work tomorrow.
Yeah, he didn't say who he was, but it was something like eligible bachelor seeks most beautiful girl for a date.
Good,
yeah.
For that.
And of course, the people who didn't respond are like, "Don't."
Yeah. Oh.
Aww.
I never saw the ad. I never saw it.
I didn't either. I just read about it.
Yeah.
Or I would have answered it in drag.
I love stuff like that. I love when artists do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of sneaky surprise things like that.
I think it's sweet.
Well, isn't that one of the great things about Prince is I think that he was you could never place a bet on him. You never knew what he was going to do.
Right.
And like his whole career to me, like I'm a Scorpio and I love to like mystery and to figure things out. And throughout his whole career, I'm trying to figure stuff out.
Mhm.
You know, so
Yeah,
cool.
I like that. There's a little mystery factor to it. That's a lot of fun.
Like a little
He was
puzzle.
always changing stuff up and making you guess what's coming next.
I can see where that would be frustrating if you were working with him, if you were an employee or a band member. But as a fan, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, as an employee, you're shitting your pants. Like, is he going to fire me?
I know poor Brenda never got that solo album that she was supposed to get all those years.
Oh, I know.
Wasn't there a tour towards the end where basically the truck drivers were told, like, just load up and we'll tell you where we're going when we leave, kind of thing? Like, they didn't even know what city from city they were going to go to as far as performing.
Right.
That'd be exciting, but really frustrating.
Yeah. Like I said, if you're working, that's bad. Yeah. But if you're a fan, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on Beautiful Girl in the World before we move on?
No.
Okay. We are officially moving on to Dolphin. This is another rock song, right? What do you all think of this one?
I like it. I mean, I didn't like it back then, to be fair, but I have like dug into the lyrics and stuff like that, and I really like
it. I definitely liked it more than I remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Clark, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's weird as far as concepts. It's one of his weirder concepts. But it makes sense what he's saying, but it's a weird concept.
For the listeners, tell them what he's talking about in the song. Can one do like a quick summary? He's talking about being a dolphin, right?
Well, not literally being a dolphin, but like he's saying if I came back as a dolphin, when you listen to me then, like,
okay,
I'm like, are you like, people didn't understand him, I think is where he's coming from. And he was veering in the direction as, you guys don't understand me. Maybe you'd understand me this way.
Like of all the studies that people have done of dolphins, where they're all their sounds and stuff.
They're very intelligent.
They're super smart.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, normal people don't get what they're saying because, there's like something lost in translation. I think, but yeah, it's such a super. I love that song. I do. I think it was kind of a dig to Warner Brothers, don't you think?
Yeah, I feel like in the context of what was happening at the time, it seems very topical for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you don't know me as an artist, and try to see me who as I am.
I wish he'd done a remix between that and If I Was Your Girlfriend. It'd be If I Was Your Dolphin Girlfriend. That would be.
I'm gonna do it.
The Wiki Watchy remix.
Also, it's kind of like I don't want to say political, but more like humanitarian. Like, why does my brother have to go hungry?
Yeah.
When you say there's supposed to be food for all,
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always into that, like into the humanitarian side.
Yeah.
Of things.
It seems like there's a lot to dig into with this album, which I really appreciated. And I think I'm going to enjoy getting to know it better over the next time. Yeah. So that's why I'm really enjoying talking about it with you guys, because you're teaching me things.
Teach each other.
Yeah.
Well, it's another fun aspect of being a Prince fan is there's basically no albums that you can just listen to and not want to do. You can go as deep as you want to into all of his albums. Right. There's always more to find out.
Sure.
So that itself is fun.
Well, I give Dolphin a thumbs up for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Anyone else? Do a dolphin sound, but I'd do it if I could.
Okay, so I like dolphin. The NPG operator comes back, and then next, if I remember, this is a segue where they're talking like about Housequake and sexy MFs. I'm like, oh shit, things are about to get serious if they're name dropping these like classic songs. And then it goes into a song called Now, which my notes next to the song were rap kind of sucked. So I did not like it. I just thought it was kind of stupid. Like, it sounds like Ben likes this one. Ben, you go first.
I do. I think his rap on here, I mean, yeah, it's on point. I think he's just hitting it on all ends, and that's it. I'm gonna say.
I was just ready for like, if you're gonna preface something with Housequake, like it's gotta be serious. Like you don't name drop Housequake. Well, now wasn't sounding so good if that's what now was.
It'll catch up.
But this is the first song that I didn't love listening to when I heard the album today. Melissa or Clark, what do you all think of this one?
Go ahead, Clark.
Is this the one where he kind of like makes some marijuana references?
Yes.
I thought that
I did up and take a hit.
That didn't ring authentic for me. Like I don't think Prince was much of a weed smoker.
No, he wasn't.
I don't think he was either, but I don't know.
So I thought that was a little odd for him to throw that reference in there. Overall, though, I don't hate the song though, but I just thought like that's weird. He's trying to appropriate that kind of culture.
Well, what was the video? I think it was the video to it. I'm not sure, but he like took a hit off a bong in the video.
Oh, really?
Was it?
I don't remember that.
Like in the video, he had like the goggles on, and I think it was in Rock and Roll is Live in It lives in Minneapolis. I think I'm not sure. I'm sure I could be corrected, but yeah. And then you hear the coughing.
Maybe maybe.
I just put this song in the same category as like stuff from the early '90s, like the Max. Like I just felt like it was in the same category, which isn't my favorite. Not my favorite Prince category.
I like the lyric. I really like the lyric. It's flyer to be hungry than fat, like PHAT, but not FAT.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give it a thumbs down though. I give it a sideways. What do you all give this one?
I'm doing both.
Thumbs up.
All right, so then we have the NPG operator, and then we have 319. So this one, I like this one.
This is like one of the Prince fam go-to. It's 319, March 19th, every 319. We always play the song.
Yeah, I thought it was a great song. I didn't write down many notes, but yeah, I was just surprised listening to the album. It was like good song after good song. I didn't love Now, but I didn't hate it either. And maybe the more I listen to it, it'll grow on me. But I just remember by the time I got to 319, I'm like, I'm fucking digging the Gold Experience. Like I'm here.
Have you seen the movie Showgirls?
More like sexy. It's not like sensual, but it's sexy. Like
sexy.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen Showgirls.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy, you have to see Showgirls.
I'm not a movie person.
It's so horribly bad.
I just watch crime. I watch crime shows, like hours and hours of 2020.
No, I mean Showgirls it's so bad. I think it takes itself too seriously, which makes it a really awesome kind of movie. Like it's very campy. I mean, and I don't think they meant it to be that way. But yeah, this song Pop Goes a Zipper in that, and for that I like it alone. But yeah, the movie's horribly good.
So if you had to choose between three
weeks ago,
what's that, Clark?
I just watched Xanadu about 2 weeks ago in the theaters.
Yeah, I skipped that one too. I'm just not a movie person.
Same.
I've never seen that either.
I've never seen it. No.
Bad.
No, thank you. If you guys had to choose between 319 and 3121, which would you pick?
The song or the album?
Song.
Oh my god. That's a weird comparison.
I know. I'm doing the numbers.
I know. You do the numbers game.
Though one is more like sexy, and one is more like something totally different.
Well, we'll come back to that one.
Based on, I just picked 1999.
No, or 7. Okay, 319 though. I give it a thumbs up.
17 days.
Yeah, 17 days.
You love his numbers. You love his numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Okay. We have the NPG operator. Next was a song called Shy, and I loved this one. It was like a warm blanket, sexy and romantic.
Yes, I love it.
I loved this song. I'm remorseful that I never made it to star on the album because I really missed out. This is a beautiful song, very organic, very warm, very sincere. You can tell Prince was not going through the motions with these songs. This was just a beautiful song. I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was about a prostitute.
What's he saying in the lyrics that made you think that?
I thought it was like him meeting some chick, it's like she's walking with her heels, clink, 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 clink. And then, I thought he was like meeting a prostitute and she's shy. And am I wrong? Melissa, you're laughing. Am I wrong?
I didn't get that from it at all. I did not get that.
Maybe.
Listen to it again.
Okay,
That's the beauty of art because it's so subjective.
I'll look up the lyrics. Hold on.
Clark, what did you think of this one?
I thought this was part of the album until you mentioned it, but I remember liking it. So
yeah,
after the discussions, I always go and listen to the album again. So I'll listen to it tonight. But I remember liking it though.
Cool. Well, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. It says he roamed the streets in search of a poem amongst the wild and drinking, and he saw a cool dark skin and a hot virgin white.
Oh,
so
okay.
He was like, it was
a prostitute. Yep.
Maybe it wasn't a prostitute. Maybe somebody else, but
somebody he found that said she was shy, but she wasn't really shy.
The rest is history, right? All right. Well, does everyone give this one a thumbs up?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I do.
Next, we have Billy Jack Bitch, which when Prince gets snarky about people, we're going to be talking about Bob George in the next couple months. But here he's talking about Billy Jack Bitch. I read on the Wikipedia page that they thought it was about a gossip columnist, but he said it was not.
Cheryl CJ. Cheryl, I forget her last name.
Yeah,
Upton or something, right?
She wrote for
Right On Magazine,
Star Tribune, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Generally, the songs where Prince is like clapping back, like All the Critics Love You in New York. This one, those are usually not my favorite Prince songs. So I didn't hate this, but I'm just like, whatever. Like, I think it was more for him than for us. He had some stuff to get off his chest.
I love this song. It's actually also one of my favorites on this album.
Okay.
He said it wasn't about her, but it clearly was about her.
She threw him otherwise.
I mean, there's a version where he says CJ, Billy Jack Bitch.
Yeah.
So
this is also one that may grow on me the more I revisit
he was calling him names. She called him Cymbalina.
Right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's why he said, "What if I called you silly names like the ones you called me?"
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, the topic of the song, he's kind of trying to do a dig at her, but he's doing it in such a nice way, minus the word bitch. But he's like, "What if I called you silly names?"
And it's such a good song. It's so funky and fresh.
Yeah, you know what? I am gonna give it a thumbs up. I think there's a lot to discover here. I loved Shy so much because I just love the production. I think, Billy Jack Bitch coming after, I was still thinking about Shy, but I did enjoy this one.
Aww.
Yeah. Clark, do you have anything to say about this one?
Well, yeah, the dance number on the AMAs that went with it was really good too.
Yes.
Wasn't Carmen in that as well? She was the one under the covers or something, right?
Yeah. No,
the one that was in front of him.
He was under the covers. They drug him out.
Okay. Yeah, that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next is a song that I do have the CD single of. I Hate You, and damn, this is a really good ballad.
Yeah.
This was a beautiful song.
What, you like a ballad?
I loved it. I didn't like it. I loved it. And this is a really well-liked song in the fan community, isn't it?
Should be.
Because it's really love song. I'm sorry.
So I feel like I've heard Jill talk about the song that she likes it. But what were you gonna say, Ben?
I was saying it's really a love song, but with a title like "I Hate You," it's such a dichotomy of what it's about.
It's
Right.
like that you're torn between somebody that you love, but you can't stand some things.
Hate them so much because you love them.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful sentiment on just really loving somebody.
Would that classify as a strange relationship?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh,
He should have played those as a medley.
yeah.
You can count. Yeah,
I thought it was a
In our
gorgeous
strange
song.
yeah.
And this is another
got
one of
that
those
real-
songs. This is another one of those songs that only Prince could do. Like, this is such a
Right.
Prince song.
Yeah.
Clark, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's got that real powerful those punches, like dun dun dun. You know.
And then the whole thing about being in court and stuff with
I know.
the song,
Yeah.
Your Honor. It was like so clever.
The Forrest Gump references with the feather floating through the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's an approved legal tactic to throw a sheet over somebody's ass in court, though.
Unless it's just Judy.
All right. Well, we all give this one a strong thumbs up, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Damn, I really slept on this album. This might be the first in my. This is like episode 70 something of Phonogenics, and this is the first one where I'm like, I fucked up, like not listening to this album all these years.
Yeah, you did not listen to it.
Yeah, really.
We in the last couple months we did some of the Joni Mitchell albums that I did never like, the orchestral ones, and when I revisited them, I'm like, boy, they really are bad. Like,
You don't like those?
no,
Like the
Christ,
monologue and stuff?
oh God, no.
I love those.
And I felt like I was gang brutalized because the whole panel, like me and one other person were the only ones that didn't like it. And those Joni Phonogenics are like 12 serious fans. So when it came time for Travelogue, like I got my ass chewed out. Okay.
But the art is subjective.
It's
You
subjective.
know, not everybody's gonna like the same
We would
thing.
never chew your ass out like
But
that.
I love Joni's 80s stuff, like Chalk Mark and a Rainstorm. Like I gave that like 10, and a lot of people
I
hated
love
that one.
Album.
I love Joni's 80s. So, okay. But Gold Experience was the opposite of Travelogue in that I re-listened to it. I'm like, holy shit, these songs are all really good. Okay. So we have one more final segue from our NPG operator. And then it goes into the last song, Gold, which I had the CD single somewhere. I know there's a B-side that was exclusive to the single, right? Rock and Roll Still Alive in Minneapolis.
The bong hit and the cough. I'm
Okay.
telling you, look it up. I swear that's happening.
Look it up. Okay, I thought Gold was a really great kind of epic album closer. It kind of had like
It's very-
mid-tempo rock. I feel like sometimes,
it reminds me of Mountain,
okay,
but in a different way. Like it's the mountains, it's the new version of Mountains.
but it does have that kind of earthy Paisley feel that Mountains had. Mountains is probably my top 5 favorite Prince songs. I love Mountains. I love that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
In Gold, I feel like sometimes Prince tries to do anthems and it can be hit or miss. And I feel like this was a hit. This was a hit. Like I think of like Still Can't Stand. What's that one from Graffiti Bridge? Still All Time or whatever.
Stand
No.
all time.
Like, I feel like that
So-
tried to be an epic and it was just like, ugh. But
Oh, I
No,
love that song.
I
Well,
think
I
you're
remember-
thinking of the end of Graffiti Bridge, which was
Graffiti Bridge, the song Graffiti
Oh.
Bridge, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that's an even
Still
better
would stand all
example.
the time.
Yeah, I think the song Gold was kind of cheesy. I think lyrically it was kind of not very inspiring. Every line rhymed with the other. And he actually said the lyrics in one of the award shows, like as his acceptance speech.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody
sorry, I'm not articulating very well.
already been sold.
Right?
Everybody
Like,
wants
like his,
to sell. Yes.
right, good.
I was just reading that everybody wants to sell what's already been sold. Everyone wants to tell what's already been told. So it's kind of like him, like, I don't know. It's kind of like a nice version of him clapping back, kind of like telling people.
It ain't all what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little cheesy, but I didn't mind the cheesiness. It had that really nice synth part in there. Just kind of had a good feel, which isn't quite what you go to Prince. You don't go to Prince for like feel good all the time, but he has some really great feel good songs like Raspberry Beret, Mountains, and I'd put this kind of in that same group. I liked it. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I like it.
I thought it sideways.
I like the whole album, but that song.
Sideways with an upward lean. How's that?
I thought the ending was a little Beatles Sgt. Pepper's-ish with the fade in and out. I thought the last few seconds had a little bit of that. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, you're right.
Well,
there isn't really a song on this album that I don't like.
Right.
So you'll never see me do what were you doing, Clark?
He was doing a sideways up.
Acid.
With an upward. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give any thumbs down. I don't give any thumbs downs on this album.
No, I don't either.
I don't either.
What a pleasure. Solid. What a pleasure talking about this album with you guys. You taught me a lot, and I'm excited to go back and hear it some more. I think it's a great album. Let's do our, before we sign off, let's do our scale on a scale of 1 to 10. Prince, the Gold Experience. Ben, you're in the upper left, so you get to go first.
Let me do my waves.
10? All right. Melissa.
9.7.
Damn. Holy shit. Clark.
I'll go solid 9. It's an album that I'll probably forget when you talk about the great albums, but then yet when you listen to it, it's a great album,
But how could you forget?
Now,
well, because then you go to 1989 and Purple Rain.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, for whatever reason, there's no good reason for it. It just doesn't fit in with those. But again, when you listen to it,
he wanted everything not to be different.
Right.
Not to be the same.
Right.
But I feel like this album was more solid than the Symbol album.
Yeah.
It was like consistency.
Commercially, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So I expected to go into this giving it a 2. That's what I expected to go into it. But after listening to it today and talking with you guys, and with Clark, I give it a solid 9. So I went from a 2 to a 9. I think it's a really good album. I fucked up. And on any other episode of Phonogenics. This is a really great album.
It's first.
You know what lesson you should have learned from this, Jeremy?
What's that?
Listen to us more often.
Listen to your friends.
All the time.
All the time. Oh, I'll never listen to anybody but myself. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's chat for a minute after I pause because I want to book our next appointment. However, thank you to the YouTube subscribers. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers and friends. Thank you for coming to talk about Prince once a month. This has been one of my favorite discussions because I really got to, Prince isn't with us anymore. So the only way you get to experience new music is experience new music for me is revisiting an album that I didn't understand and getting it. So that's the best that you can get. And I'm thankful for that gift. So till next month, much love, everybody.